All right, I'll call the Planning and Development Committee meeting to order. And before I turn it over to Ms. Jessie, I just want to make a comment that on August 24th, there's two items on our agenda tonight. And August 24th, council is going to hold a future land use workshop. That'll be at the chamber. I believe the chamber boardrooms we're tentatively seeking to use. It'll be at 9 a.m. on that Monday, where we're going to talk about a lot of the things that address the two items that are on the agenda tonight. So before I go through the trouble to ask Jesse to read through these two things and explain it, I would, if there's a motion that could come to recommend these two items that go to council to be postponed until after that August 24th meeting, I'll hear it now.
I'll make a motion that we move items A and B full council with a recommendation for council to postpone the first reading of these ordinances till after the August 24th meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
And now we'll hear a motion to adjourn.
Sure.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open up the committee on Public Works.
All right, the only item on tonight's agenda is create a list to send a full council of safety action items for DOT to comply with. And this is from the many discussions that we've had about, stop sign requests we get on DOT roads, speeding requests to reduce the speed limit. Recently, West Richardson adding crosswalks, placing stop signs.
Mhm.
So it's just the start of creating this list.
Okay. And who put this on the agenda?
Oh, it came from a discussion, I believe, at the last council meeting
Yeah, the-
Oh,
or two council meetings ago about West Richardson.
from the discussion of West Richardson last month, but I think what we're looking to do is just try to get a list of items that we need. I know that Ms. Johnson had a lot of that wanted to be that we're going to be on that list as well. So a lot to do with West Richardson, and of course I've had the questions about the stop signs on Parkwood Drive and those areas around town. So I think that we probably should just brainstorm a few items, and it was my understanding that staff was going to send these items straight to DOT to be addressed and not necessarily
To headquarters.
to headquarters. And Scott, do you guys need that to go through council first, or can we just send y'all a list?
Well, I think if we want to have it have the most effect, it needs to come from the council as a united body.
Okay.
Right. So you want to put this off until Thursday night when Ms. Johnson's here, or you can bring a list with you to the next Public Works Committee.
mhm.
You can do that. Certainly it's up to y'all to decide how you want to approach it. But that's the intent, is to compile the list of everything y'all want DOT headquarters to address, and then we will put that together and send that to them.
So do you think that we should actually, or could we have a separate meeting for that we can brainstorm all together along with our engineer and anybody else? Is that something that we can do?
Be a recommendation that you as the committee would make the full council decide whether or not you want to hold a special meeting.
Okay, then that perhaps we just need to send it to council to talk about
Yeah.
Thursday night.
Yeah, I think a discussion Thursday night would be good, and then we'll kind of go from there as well. I agree. We
Okay.
probably need to brainstorm and have a good list. And if our council members that of course are present tonight are listening, they know that, you know, what the assignment is. So we'll have a list, and if staff has, I'd be interested to see what staff's
Okay.
concerns are as well around town. I don't know if you guys have any or whatnot, and that includes Chief Wright, you as well, just to see what some trouble areas that y'all deal with that DOT might could help us with as well.
Okay. We'll get that together.
Okay. Anything else?
I move we, oh, do you need it to be a motion? Okay. Everything I just said in the form of a motion, please.
I'll second it. Let's vote on it.
I
Aye. It passes.
move we adjourn.
Okay, second that, and all those in favor, aye, we're adjourned. That's how you run a meeting, guys.
You know, anything. If you do that.
All right. I will call our Finance Committee meeting to order and turn it over to you, Ms. Rhonda.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Once again, I'm under the gun not to speak too much and hold up progress like y'all have, so expeditiously done tonight. You have the summary, in front of you of July. Our total revenue collected for the month is, just over 1.4 million. Our expenses for the month are 4.3 million. This is typical of the beginning of our fiscal year. We'll start to spend down our fund balance between now and December. I will call your attention to building and grounds, which shows a 26% of its budget being spent. About 800,000 of that is our half of our insurance policy for the year. So we pay it in January and July. So that's a big hit that comes out in July. The transfers out, that was the 2 million that we transferred to the capital fund, and I went ahead and did that in July so that that's done. Transfers in obviously from hospitality. So our net expenses over our revenues is 4.5 million for the month, and of course for year to date. For revenues, we had a little bit in property taxes. Those will pick up obviously later in the year, just under $225,000. Our license permits and fees, 581,000. We had a strong month for building permits and stormwater review fees. Municipal court fines, almost 35,000 for the month. State revenues, we collected, local option sales tax from Charleston and Berkeley County, and some in beverage licenses for the month. Next. Parks and recreation income, 98,000 for the month. I will point out that on the tennis program revenue, that's not typically negative, but I know we had to refund some fees because of Doty, some tennis league fees because of Doty Park. Miscellaneous revenues, largest item being interest income for 201,000. And again, our total revenue is about 1.4 million. Impact fees, these are very strong. There's actually about 3 times what we did last year in July. And of course, those are kind of go along the same as our building permits and those kind of things. When building permits are up, impact fees are up. We have collected 435,000 for residential, and then a small amount, 14,000 in commercial. There are no expenses booked to impact fees for this month. Hospitality and accommodations. Hospitality tax is still strong. We budgeted 6.2 in revenue. We collected 557,000 In fees are transferred to the general fund of 308,000 and other expenses related to hospitality fund of just under 113,000. So our net revenues over expenses of 142,000 for the month. Accommodations, we collected 44,000. That is consistent. That's about what we've been collecting every month for that fund. No expenses allocated to that. Last but not least is our stormwater fund. Obviously, we had a little bit of fees trickle in from the county. Our expenditures for the month are 185,000. So obviously, we're in deficit position for July as well. And I will say I failed to update the current budget numbers on this particular fund, which I will have done next time. I apologize for that.
So is the current budget number balanced at the 2.7?
I think it's a little bit of a surplus. I think that's what we ended up
All right.
with.
We're not on the water.
I'll get
though.
that. No.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Any other questions for Ms. Rhonda? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank y'all.
Item B, your authorization to surplus and sell streets department vehicles SM 128, John Deere 5045D, and vehicle S73 International Timco Sweeper.
I make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those raise your right hand to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item C, authorization to surplus and sell police department vehicles P262, a 2014 Dodge Charger with 108,000 miles, and P303, a 2016 Dodge Charger with 103,000 miles.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? The ayes have it.
Item D, authorization to issue the following service weapons to retiring SPD officers: Ronald Axon, Glock Model 17 9mm MOS serial BBT US 992, and to Anthony Danielle, Glock Model 17 MOS serial number BMVL 482.
I make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? The ayes have it.
Item E, authorization to issue a purchase order in the amount of $82,285 to LifeScan Wellness Centers for the required annual OSHA physical clearance for the fire department. Funds to come from fire department operating budget.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, motion and a second for approval. Any discussion? Hearing none, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item F, authorization to issue a purchase order in the amount of $106,400 to Branner Emergency Vehicles for 2 Chevy Silverado 1500s. Funds to come from capital funding, and the request is from the Fire and Rescue Department.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? The ayes have it.
Item G, authorization to issue a purchase order to Schroeder Services LLC in the amount of $149,972 to purchase a metal building for the Streets Department. Funds to come from budgeted capital for the Streets Department.
Motion
Make a
to
motion.
approve.
All right, motion to approve
Second,
and a second. Any other discussion?
What was the dollar amount we discussed at the budget? Which is 150. Okay.
Is this
That's
like
pretty
a building that they're just gonna reorder it and self-construct? Or does Schroeder come in and put it up? Okay, metal frame. Yeah, it's not a,
No size or anything.
Oh. okay.
Holes and holes.
So like the light duty construction stuff that, okay.
How many bays we going to get out of this?
I can't remember exactly how long it is. Bonnie, you got any idea? I don't know. It is going to cover up much of the equipment that is currently sits out and is exposed to the
Yeah.
elements.
Yeah.
And therefore cutting down the life expectancy of it.
Mm.
But it's going to be on the site, between the stormwater building and the maintenance building. Kind of out in the middle of the lot right there.
Oh, so it's gonna be on the asphalt and blacktop,
25 by 100.
25 by 100?
Yep. So it's
Okay,
decent
that's good
size.
size
Yep. Yep. Thank you, Rebecca.
Probably get 10 bays out of that.
Yep.
That's all.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The opposed likewise. The ayes have it.
Item H, authorization for staff to apply for FEMA brick grant for backup generator at 300 West Second North Street, known as the Public Safety Complex. 25% match requirement. The federal share of the grant amount is $361,200 and town share is $120,400. Request from Finance and Public Safety Departments.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, motion and a second for approval. Any discussion?
So the total value of this backup generator is $481,000. Okay,
481,600. And the federal share would be 361,200, and then our 25% match requirement would be 120,400.
and this is just the backup generator we're talking about. And of course, all the appliances that go with it. Okay, very good.
And that'll do the whole public safety facility campus? Is that for the whole public safety campus, the new one? Yes, yes. I knew that. Is it the backup generator or is this like a secondary backup or,
It is the backup generator.
okay, so we didn't have that included in the,
It's in the budget, but if we get this grant. we can
okay,
take it out.
right, yeah, yeah, that's the other part of my
This
question was, yeah,
substitute money.
Save us. right. So we'll just use funds from the project for the match, I assume, if we were
Correct.
awarded this, okay. No, great job fishing for it, I like it.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Cat. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Likewise, the ayes have it.
Item I, authorization for staff to apply for SC Undiscovered Tourism Grant for Hutchinson Square improvements. Replace current surface conditions with full site preparation, base installation, drainage, synthetic turf, and ADA compliant grading. There's a 50% match requirement. The PRT share would be $51,667 and the town share $1,667. The request is from the Finance and Parks and Recreation Departments.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
Is this a budgeted item? Good job, by the way. I think last time we talked about it was like 125 or 150,000. You got it down to about 103,000, but is this money that we have available sitting somewhere?
This would be, the match would be funded out of fund balance. It's not a budgeted item
Okay.
at this point, but it is an opportunity to do this work. Unless Amy wants to find $51,000 in the operating budget.
So
This
it's,
would be an opportunity to do this work at that price.
I did have that question. So we don't have a line item for grants matched
Correct.
still, okay. Yeah, I can't remember if we'd ever done that or not. Okay. And Amy, does it?
It's one of those unexpected opportunities.
Right. I got you.
I assume because the question's being asked, we feel like we can absorb this in the fund balance.
Amy, will this do the whole Hutchinson Square or just the area down by the, so from Richardson over to Doty inside? Basically, okay. Okay.
And not to skip ahead while we're discussing it, but item J is another attempt to have this funded through grants. So we're kind of going at it with both barrels of the shotgun. I appreciate you seeking other people's money first. Thank you. That's my favorite. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, raise your right hand, signify by saying aye. The opposed likewise. The ayes have it.
Item J, authorization for staff to apply for the Municipal Association's Impact Fund for improvements at Hutchinson Square, 5% match requirement. Municipal Association share would be $98,167.30, and the town share would be $5,167.
Make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Our preference is to win this one first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? The ayes have it.
Item K, authorization for the town to formally amend the CDBG HUD Citizen Participation Plan to add the sub-recipient selection standards and process section, as well as a scoring rubric as agreed upon by the Finance Committee at its meeting 11th. Request is from the Finance Department.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, motion and a second for approval. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, raise your right hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item L, authorization to spend no more than $605,000 from Midtown TIF funds to fund the remaining balance on the Blythe claim in association with the Maple Street project. Request from Public Works and Administration Departments.
I'll make a recommendation for approval.
Second.
All right, motion and a second for approval. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. You worded it, spend no more than. Does that mean there's some wiggle room as to the final dollar amount?
There's wiggle room only upwards. So the last couple of remaining invoices on the project after it was closed out are still to be submitted by the vendors. And that's going to total, it's going to leave a remaining balance of a little less than $1.5 million in the project budget. As we discussed, County Council is going to have it on their agenda on the 17th. So whatever the balance of that project fund is what they will contribute. And we don't expect that to exceed our balance would not exceed the $605,000.
Is this all relative to the moving utilities?
Yes.
And I know that we paid a fair portion to the company that was managing this project for us for their overtime, but yet they weren't helping to get these utilities moved.
That's a long story that we've been involved with since I got here.
I understand, and I appreciate you taking that over. I
understand your
if a
frustration.
lot of this 605 is due to delays and nobody on that side of the fence did anything to help with those delays, but yet they still have the meter running.
They are closing out according to the contract.
Understood. So we think this is it for our part?
This will be it.
Okay,
We're done with the Maple Street project after this.
okay. Then you got my vote.
Okay.
It's only been about, what's that? That's been a trip.
Yeah, say less.
Any other questions for Scott? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, raise your right hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? The ayes have it.
Item M, the discussion of the current employee health insurance plan requested by Councilmember Matt.
Several people have come to me and asked about the insurance, and so I wanted it to be brought to the full council that we can talk about it. I know we talked about it before and said that we would, revisit it. And I know Scott said, give it some time. So I wanted to at least see where we're at right now. A couple of the people that have come to me about rising prescription prices. Then they said it stopped covering the COVID tests at the doctor's visits with no communication to policyholders, and some other things about the chiropractor coverage. So maybe we can talk together and come together and see what we can to figure this out.
Councilman, I just want to say thank you for bringing this up so that we can discuss. I've heard both positive and negative feedback on the new insurance program. Some people are experiencing windfalls through procedures and processes, and some people have some surprises that aren't necessarily good for their families. And anyway, thank you for bringing this up so we can talk about it.
And I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have insurance to the town. So, I mean, I can't talk for what I have state coverage through Blue Cross Blue Shield with the town, with the county. But like I said, I would just hope that we can do the right thing to help people, because I often say, when you work the whole day and you have to worry about insurance at the end of the day, that's not a good feeling. And of course, there are the people in Parks and Recreation and our police department. They might not complain about it, because the thing is they might not be as vocal because they just take what they're going to get. But I do feel that let's try to figure it out.
Yeah, so if I may, I'll thank you, Councilman Mack. I'll remind us all that there were two motivations that we all had in mind whenever we sought a new health insurance policy. Number one was to mitigate and keep as low as possible the potential increases in the premiums that the town would have to pay for each employee's health care coverage. And in doing that, our obviously big goal there was to try and reduce or mitigate the potential increase in what the employee might have to pay for a portion of the premium. Because as we talked about, premiums just keep going up, and we wanted to try and keep a handle on the increase from year over year. So that was motivation number one. The other motivation was to move to a plan that was not quite as expensive, or at least gave us the opportunity to try and build a fund balance to seed a wellness clinic here for the town, which is something that employees have all been very consistently saying over the years that that's something that they wanted. So the plan that we went to and moving from Gallagher Health Insurance Brokers to Woodard, Woodard was able to bring a new concept to the town that was implemented with the change in the federal administration in 2025. This individual health reimbursement plan agreement. Yes, the ICHRA, if you'll remember that term. And so what that does is essentially set up an individual policy for each of our employees. But that did come with some trade-offs. But we kept employees' contributions to the health insurance premium where it was under the old plan. You were generous enough to fund that difference, because the price did go up, but not as much as it would have. But it's also allowed us to hopefully put away close to $500,000 in the first year, and we'll know more as the audit comes online. In this first year of using this plan, actually, we're not even in it for an entire year yet. October 1 will be when have actually been in it for a year. And then we expect that we'll see similar savings for the plan year that's coming up that'll start in January. And so then we will be able to truly try and work towards creating our own wellness clinic. As I said, it came with some trade-offs for employees. They have to do a bit more legwork, and they have some skin in the game in order to get reimbursed for expenses that are eligible under the plan, so that we could afford this plan and also to aspire to the clinic. So those were the main objectives. We've done a good job in that direction, and I'm proud of where we are. Katie has been working with Woodard very closely since she's come on board, and she's gotten a crash course in ICHRA and our policy and Woodard themselves. But what she wants to talk to you about just a little bit is the measures that the town and Woodard have taken to address employee issues and concerns with the plan. And again, we will reiterate our encouragement of you to direct employees who have issues with anything dealing with the town personnel policies, with health insurance policy, direct those to our HR staff and they can address those appropriately. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie and let you talk for just a few minutes on some of the things that we are doing, have done, and intend to do in order to address some of these issues.
Hi. So it's my understanding that there was an engagement survey that was sent out shortly after the plan was implemented, just to see kind of where everybody stood. Of that survey, 24 concerns were raised. Well, I think 23, and then one came a little bit after. Of those 23 concerns, 21 of them were able to be completely figured out on behalf of Woodard. I have to say, as I've gotten to know them, particularly Laura Woodard, goes absolutely above and beyond to solve any issues that are raised that she knows about. So there were a couple that are unresolved because she's not heard back from the folks, and or there are some that are in limbo, if you will, because we're waiting to hear back from Blue Cross Blue Shield, a spouse, and their plan, something to do with that. And so I think to address a couple of those specific concerns, though, Dexter, is my understanding as well that while chiropractic was covered in 2025, it is still technically covered. It's not covered in 2026, but they can be reimbursed for it under the HRA. And so it is, or the HSA account. And so they're able to still get chiropractic care. There's just basically an extra step. I think we have an opportunity to, and this is really what I've been working on the last couple of months, not only getting to know Woodard, but have an opportunity to really reach out to our employees and help them. I want to know what the problems are and help them understand how to mitigate those concerns. And I think we have an opportunity to better communicate the ways that they can solve that. I think it is a complex plan. There's a lot of added steps, and I don't expect, because that's not everybody's full-time job, I don't expect them to know exactly how to do all that. However, we're working internally to make sure that we can answer every question that's brought to us. And if for some reason someone in HR can't answer that, we have a lot of resources that we can reach out to. Ultimately, the ones when it came to medication, there were a handful of medication concerns. My understanding is, besides the couple that Laura is waiting to hear back on responses, there were 5 of those that were resolved completely just by shopping another plan for those folks to be able to have those medications covered. And so as long as we know about the problem, we can figure out a solution, I think, is really the summary of what I'm trying to say. I only know about 24 issues. And so if someone has an issue, if we know about it, I feel very confident that we can lean into that and figure out a solution. As far as the COVID tests go, that actually was a federal mandate that was put out. There were a few things I think that were concerns on behalf of employees. And again, don't expect anybody. It was kind of a perfect storm because it happened at the same time that the new plan took place, but it actually had nothing to do with the new plan. That was a federal mandate that took place across all policies. And so again, something that when we found out about it, we were able to address and hopefully figure out a workaround for.
Council members, I guess in summary, any feedback we hear, we need to direct towards you to address and kind of help them walk through whatever uncertainty and confusion and complication that they have. But if we are thinking of making an adjustment, when is the next logical time that we should be thinking in our minds if we need to make another adjustment? I know that takes us in a completely different direction from where our original goals were. I understand that, but just give us a sense of the timeline, because we are like you said, not even in a year, we're coming up on the first year.
So I will say, without changing a whole lot, we have some options moving forward that I'll know more about in October when we get actual pricing. And this is what I'm waiting to hear from for Woodard. So instead of kind of offering a blanket plan for everyone under the ICRA, the idea is that we could offer more options based on concerns that people have, maybe problems that they've had. We don't want to give, I don't want to give 25 options in front of someone, but Woodard could basically help us to kind of whittle and offer more personalized options. So basically we're keeping what we have, but offering more personalized service, if you will, is an option for next year. Again, I'll know a little bit more about pricing and that sort of thing. All of that happens in October. Right. Renewal doesn't occur till January. So, okay.
What you're saying there is it would be like a premium option. An employee could pay a higher premium and they get a little bit better insurance, I guess.
So two ideas that they've thrown out is basically there's more options rather than kind of one blanket plan. We say, hey, Richard, what are you most concerned about? Hey, here's 5 options that might work best for you. Or we could create something else, which basically has a kind of what we have now, a blanket plan. And then there's like a buy up option.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of different ways that we could approach it. And I won't know, I guess, what to recommend maybe until October.
I assume we're just going to stick, are we just planning to stick with Woodard and move that direction? And is that what y'all are kind of gearing towards now?
That would be my preference as well. I actually think they've gone above and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say that right now I am personally giving our insurance plan a vigorous test drive, and Laura Woodard has been very responsive. So I'm happy to work out the kinks in this year one, and hopefully we'll have some real numbers in October.
Any other questions? I want to make sure you get everything answered, Dexter.
No.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
Okay,
so
okay.
much. And welcome to the team.
Super happy with Katie. She's jumped in with both feet and doing a great job. So, couple items. Thank you, Councilman Waring, for reminding everybody about the August 24th special meeting. It'll be at the chamber offices from 9 to noon for the land use planning. Encourage your constituents when they reach out to you with an issue like a limb down or a sign down or some maintenance issue that they see around town to use SeeClickFix or the online form on the website. I use SeeClickFix all the time. I take a picture of it. It's on my phone. It's actually easier to use on the phone. I take a picture of it, tell it where it is, and give it a quick description. And usually the issue is dealt with very quickly. So I'd encourage you to have your folks when they call you to obviously feel free to continue to reach out to the staff with those issues. But if we can get folks getting on that system, we'll have a record of it, and then they will have a follow-up correspondence that is generated by the system whenever that complaint is dealt with and closed. So encourage those folks to do that.
Scott,
Yes.
can we do some more PSAs on that? Maybe just some.
Yeah.
little
Kowski's
publication?
gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
we're gonna push that. We're gonna push that.
Thanks.
This Saturday, is it Friday? Friday. There will be a film crew in the town's garage on the 2 top floors. They're filming a documentary of some kind. They're paying us some consideration for that. I can't remember, $1,000. So the garage we'll close the garage probably mid-afternoon on Friday. Steve with Dream is notifying the businesses that those few parking spaces up on the top 2 floors will be unavailable, but there'll be plenty of capacity in the garage. So just FYI, in case you get any questions about that. Real quick update on the public safety building. All of the bids were due 2 Fridays ago. Edifice Construction, who's our GC on the project, they are evaluating the bids that they received. And then we will be, they'll be concluding their draft pricing review. And we will be meeting in the next 2 weeks to hopefully get to a guaranteed maximum price, which is going to be critical to see for us to know what, if anything, needs to be adjusted on the design of the building or any of the amenities. So moving forward there, but they expect to mobilize and be on the site by September the 14th. So we will start seeing activity take place over on the public safety site. The Municipal Association's regional advocacy meeting for this part of the state is going to be on October the 22nd at the Rollins Edwards Community Center. This is an opportunity for you to attend and tell them what they need to tell the legislature that you want with regard to municipalities in South Carolina in the new 2-year session that kicks off in January. Please let Beth know if you will attend that. I hope that you will all plan to attend. And they will, they'll serve lunch. I think that's usually an 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. show. So, won't be a big time commitment. And it's free. Yes, you'll get a good lunch. Questions about anything that's been covered or anything that I did not cover? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Slatton.
All right. Review of the draft agenda for the August 13th, 2026 council meeting as included in the August 10th, 2026 standing committee agenda packet and also in front of you up there.
I have a question about items 8D and 8E for Mr. Slatton. Eight D appears to be the retirement health insurance. Is that correct?
Yes, that will include some clarifications of eligible expenses for the retiree health policy that will conform to, and some federal language to conform, make it stronger,
Okay.
more definitive. And then what's the other, there's another change that we've got on that as well. Yeah. There was something non-health insurance related. I can't remember what it was. There's another small adjustment that we're making to the regular handbook related to. Yeah. The overtime policy. Yes. We'll be clarifying the overtime policy. There's been some misunderstanding among staff as to how we're supposed to pay employees when they incur overtime on holidays. They think that they should be paid at one rate, and we interpret it differently. And our interpretation is the same that all of our sister municipalities across the state interpret that holiday pay, overtime holiday pay at. They don't get 2.5 times pay. They get time and a half when they incur overtime, even if they incur it on a holiday. So we'll have language there to make that crystal clear. That cover it?
That covers item D. Yes, sir. Item E.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Can you speak to what changes is this about the street department?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
spoke about?
Yeah. This is related to the changes in the street department management and oversight. Ryan Dews is, I'm recommending that he be appointed as the Director of Public Works, and he will oversee stormwater, streets, and the maintenance department. And then we'll make some other organizational changes, org chart changes related to Frank's departure as well. So some of the departments or divisions that were reporting to him will report to the town administrator for the time being.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for that
Yep.
clarification.
Yes, sir. And I don't see it on here, but we'll have Ryan's appointment. It's on F. 9A. Okay. Yeah. Ryan's appointment's on the agenda as well.
I have a question.
Y'all have to do that as the council.
Being that we're making him the head of that department, is that going to affect our committee at all? our committee will still meet the same,
Your committee will,
covering both.
yeah, your committee will remain unchanged, and Ryan will, as the Director of Public Works, will be here for that committee meeting and for the council meeting. So
And is that a division head now as opposed to department head?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, I think it's
I can't remember.
Beth and I have talked about it. See, I see a department I think that's a department head. And then if you have a branch underneath it, that's a division of the department. But we do it.
We do, yeah, we
Which
a little bit.
I don't know why we
but-
do that, but
It's,
we know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about.
yeah,
Right. Okay.
right. yeah.
Yes, that is a
It is
division
something.
head under
Yes.
the current ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah. I did ICS. I remember that too.
All right, thank you, Mr. Slatton, for those. Any other clarifications on the agenda for Thursday? All right. Hearing
Finance
none.
Committee executive session.
Mayor, I would move to enter executive session for discussions of negotiations incident to proposed contractual agreement arrangements related to National Action Development Agreement and discussion of negotiations incident to proposed sale of the town-owned former park and ride property at Gum Street and Berlin G. Myers Parkway.
Second,
All right, we have a motion and a second to go into executive session for discussions of negotiations incident to proposed contractual arrangements related to the Nash Nexon Development Agreement and discussion of negotiations incident to the proposed sale of the town-owned former park and ride property at Gum Street and Berlin G. Myers Parkway. All those in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in executive session.